Hey y'all, welcome back to another video diary. So today I'm going to be giving y'all a list of things I wish I knew when I was coming up as a young jit. But before we get into the list and into the video diary, if you're new here, my name is Raven. Welcome to the channel. And my video diaries are just when I just get on the camera and I just blab. I tell y'all all my business. I talk about, some things that I may be going through, some frustrations that I have. I vent, I use this as therapy and to build a community for girls like me, guys like me, just people who just like to talk to other people. I don't know. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing like a things I wish I knew type of video. And originally my plan was to do a story time, and I was going to title the story time How I Became a College Dropout, right? Because when I dropped out of college, eventually, let me preface this by saying, eventually I did get a degree. I got my associates. I never received my bachelor's, not as of yet. But initially when I did drop out of college before I actually went back, and even still to this day, is one of my biggest regrets. And I feel like that is like an event that happened that kind of changed the trajectory, if I'm using that word right, of my life. So I wanted to talk about that, but I'm not really in the I don't know, not necessarily in the mental space, but I feel like if I'm going to do a story time, it needs to be very detailed. And my time away at college is foggy because I wasn't doing nothing but drinking and smoking and, partying and not doing work. So my memory is kind of fuzzy. So I said, okay, instead of trying to push through that and kind of fill in the gaps that I don't remember, let's just go off of this feeling that I've been feeling of things I wish I knew that would kind of, I felt like would make my life better. And I'm gonna try to make this video short because if you don't know, if you're new here, I am a rambler. I am a yapper. So I'm gonna try to make this video 30 minutes or under, but just to get back to the backstory, before I get going all off track. At 31 years old, I just turned 31 in September. I do have regrets, and I do often think about things that have happened in my life that if I would have did these things better, maybe my life would have turned out differently. Um, that's not to say that I'm full of regrets, but I definitely do have them. I do understand that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, or I'm trying to understand that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. But y'all, sometimes knowing where I feel like I should have been, it's hard to accept that. So we're gonna get into this list, y'all. And please excuse my appearance. Y'all know it's bedtime. It's past 10:30. So we're gonna push this out and get started. So lessons I had to learn the hard way, so you don't have to. So this, y'all know I got my handy dandy journal, and I got a list of 12, I think. So I'm at least try to get through half of them, all of them if I can, but y'all, like I said, y'all know I'm a yapper. So first thing is to take advantage of the opportunities presented to you early on, because they may not come back around. So let me just get into that a little bit. Going back to college, sometimes when you're doing stuff, you have or when you're making decisions, you have this thought process like, well, I'll just be able to do it later. Like, okay, I may not be able to do it now, but I'll be able to do it later. And then sometimes that's not always true because life happens. When an opportunity is presented to you, especially if it's in a field that you want to go into. So say for instance, if one of your goals is to become a nurse at a certain hospital or get into a certain medical school or something like that. If there are prerequisites that come before that goal is presented to you, you need to take full advantage of it. Like, okay, I want to work at this particular hospital being a nurse, but right now the only opportunity that's open for me to get my foot in the door is for me to be a CNA. So I'm gonna take it because eventually, because my foot is already in the door, I'll be able to, once I get my nursing degree or whatever, I'll be able to transition from being a CNA to a nurse because I already put myself in position. So just putting yourself in position to make it to your goals. I feel like with my college experience in particular, that's where this first lessons I wish I knew. With my college experience, I always wanted to go to college. I always wanted to have that accolade of having a higher education. Being degreed up, was a dream that I wanted. And when it was presented to me, for one, I went away to college out of state at 16. So granted, I don't even think I was fully ready for that opportunity, but when it was presented to me, because I didn't understand the severity of it, I didn't understand that I was taking out loans at before I was even old enough to take out a loan at a bank. The government was giving me thousands of dollars like to go here to pursue my education. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that it's not like high school. You can't just fail a class. You know what I'm saying? You can't just skip class. Like technically you're an adult, you know, and I went into that opportunity with a child mindset, and because of that, I did not, you know, meet my goal, which was eventually to graduate. So I feel like if I knew better, I would have did better. You know, I didn't start taking life seriously until like recently, like until I had my son, and I had to start learning the hard way, and that's how we got here. So yeah, that's number one. Number two, be responsible and pay your bills. Oh my God. Now, it's like, that's like a duh. Like, duh, you're supposed to pay your bills. You would not believe how many people just don't pay bills. I was one of them. And I feel like one of the reasons I was I was a person who didn't pay their bills is because, I hate to say it like this, but I didn't grow up in a household with people who pay bills. Okay, let's just be clear. Not in the way that you're supposed to on a monthly basis. So when I started accumulating bills, I didn't really understand. I wasn't a woman of my word. Like now I've become a woman of my word. But at that time, I wasn't the type of person that was like, okay, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. It's kind of fleeting. I'm up, I'm down. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe she won't. Maybe she, you know. So I had to learn through like getting up my credit, repossessions. I even have an eviction that I'm actively working on. Oops, sorry, I mean your finger. That I'm actively working on getting off my my rental history. You know, just stuff like that that I didn't realize was important until I actually needed it, which is a big thing, because I felt like when I was younger, it was just like, oh, you can just get a credit card. When I turned 18, I got a car note for a lemon, you know, just doing stuff and not necessarily doing the homework on it when you're getting into like finances, right? So I put on here, you know, follow through on your commitments. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If I get this credit card and I make an agreement with this credit card company that they give me a credit limit of a low credit limit of $300, and I use it and I tell these people that I'm gonna pay them back, I'm gonna pay them back, because my word in my face, really, when you get into this world, is really all you got. And trying to, especially being black like this and all like this, you know what I'm saying? And my funky Dineva voice. When you're trying to maneuver through the world, trying to build yourself up from poverty, people are looking at you. It's like your credit and all of that is like a hard resume, kind of like a job interview. So no matter how much of a good person you may be, how much you may have changed, like in my instance, how much you may have changed, people judge you off of your past. You know what I'm saying? So you need to like keep in mind that my word in my face is all that I got. And people who don't have me, they have this thing that shows me that you're not a person that could be trusted. Like, because you don't handle your responsibilities. You don't pay your bills. You don't pay people back. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's put me in a tough spot even now. Like, for example, with the whole eviction thing, I have to settle to like in places that I don't want me and my son to live in, or to rent in or whatever. Say I'm ready to buy a house. Like, well, technically my mindset, I feel like I'm working there, but you know, my pockets is not there yet. But we getting there. I want to buy a house. I want to move me and my son to a certain neighborhood. But that thought is always like, am I going to run across a person who's going to give me a second chance? You don't want to be that person. Even though I feel like people do deserve a second chance, you cannot ask a person who you don't know to give you a second chance before even knowing you. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you got bills, pay them motherfuckers. If you got rent, pay your rent. Okay, even if you got $20 to your name until you get paid again, pay your rent, especially if you got kids. If you got kids, and you out here full out lying, shame on you. And I'm just saying that shame on you because shame on me too, right? Like, you can play with your life, but don't play with your baby's life. You may feel like, oh, well, if I pay my rent, then I'm not going to be able to do woo wop and a bam. What's more important? You having a roof over your head, or woo wop and a bam? You fool out lying. Oh, I was going to pay my light bill, but my light bill can wait because I want to go to a concert. Priorities, sis, or bro, whatever. So, that was a big thing, right? That goes back into what I was saying. Handle, number 3. So, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'll be rambling. Number 3, handle your business early. Fun can wait, especially if you're young. So, that's the same thing I was just saying. I put on here that if you're younger, I feel like my demographic is like more women my age or whatever. But if you happen to run across this and you're younger, I put on here that you may think your teens and your 20s are the best years of your life, but life has so much to offer than youth, because it do. You think you're going to be young forever, and like the mistakes that you make, you're just going to be able to be like, oh, I was young. So, no, that, in the real world, that it don't fly. People don't tell you that. You want to make sure that you do what it is that you're supposed to do. You have some people that are young and they got their head on straight. They don't fuck around. I went to like high school, and some of the people, the characters that I met during my college experience, I ran across girls, and boys who didn't play. And they didn't associate themselves with people who played around. We'll get to that, because I have that on there. We'll get to that later. But I put on here that you don't want to look up and be like, damn, I don't have nothing. I don't own nothing. I don't have no accomplishments. Like, I ain't did shit with my life but play around because I felt like I had time, or I felt like, oh, I'm young. When I get older, when I turn 25, I'm going to start taking life seriously. Like right now, no. Like when I was younger, you learned, like, I don't know. I guess that part is just like, take life seriously, because, it's not a joke, which is when you feel like you have your whole life ahead of you. I can understand, like, even for me, being young, you feel like you have your whole life ahead of you, so your mistakes don't follow you, but they do follow you, and eventually it'll hit you if you don't get your shit together, so that's number 3. Number 4, it's okay to start over. Sometimes failure is a blessing. Starting over allows you to reassess the situation, see where you went wrong, find a new method to succeed, and move forward strategically. Now, this is a lesson that I recently learned. I think I talked to y'all a little bit about my trying to transition my son, who has autism spectrum disorder, out of special education into general education, and how it was just a mess. Oh my God, it was a lot. But, excuse me. But during that situation, I had to start over. And it was because I didn't properly assess the situation, right? I just moved off of emotion. I didn't really sit down and do my research. I just kind of grasped at whatever was in front of me because it was something that I really wanted. And when it didn't work out, I felt really bad about it. I was like, damn, I felt like a failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I know in my mind that I mean well and I want to move forward. I'm trying to help myself. I'm trying to help my son, but I just failed, and now I feel like a failure, right? And that's not always the case. Sometimes, when you fail, it's just, like I said, it's a way for you to restart, okay? That don't mean give up, right? I'm trying to tell myself that. So just because you fail don't mean give up. It just means try to do it over. If at first you don't succeed, try again. You have to, reassess the situation. Okay, why did I fail? Did I properly prepare? Did I plan out or flesh out in detail about what I was going to do? Did I make a plan A, plan B, and plan C? Or did I just jump out the window? Because sometimes you can jump out the window and things just work out for you. But if you're a person like me, you can't just be jumping out of windows. You can't afford to kind of gamble with making important decisions anymore, Now, sometimes you do have to rely on the Lord when you just don't know what to do. But I feel like for me, because I've gambled so much with my life, in a sense, when I was younger, right now, I feel like playtime is over. I ain't got time to play. Like, I got goals that I got to meet. I got stuff I want to do. So I need to be strategic. So, going out there, assessing the situation, making a plan, like really fleshing out a plan, doing your research properly, and then trying to do it over. you know what I'm saying? And, you know, trying to succeed that way. So just don't beat yourself up about failing about a goal that you're trying to reach. Just, like I said, come back, regroup, and then try again. Number 5, making sacrifices for your future to meet your goals will hurt. You may feel like you're missing out on life, but you'll be grateful for it in the end. When I say making sacrifices, that's like for anything to meet your goals. If you have to, like for me, like I have weight loss goals, right? It hurts. Like, I'm like, girl, weight loss, but yeah, it's when, like, for, how can I put this? I feel like I have to miss out. Like right now, I'm trying not to eat no meat or nothing like that. I'm trying to watch what I eat or whatever. Y'all, I love fast food so much. And whenever I see something new come out, I know it's so big bag. Whenever I see a new fast food come out, like for example, Wendy's just released these chicken tenders and I want to get my hands on them so bad because I love Wendy's. But girl, you trying to lose weight. What is you doing in the Wendy's drive-thru? So yes, you may feel like, damn, they for a limited time, I may not be able to get me no chicken tenders. But when I meet my weight loss goal, I'm going to be like, I'm so happy I didn't have those chicken tenders. Or like one of my goals is to pay off, like I got some student loan debts. And I feel like I'm going to be sad when I pay it off because I want to take my money and do something else. I would rather take my money and go shopping, or I would rather take my money and take me and my baby on a trip. But once I pay off my student loan debt, or once I get myself out of red and I'm able to walk into whatever establishment that I need to and be like, yeah, pull a credit score. Pull the credit score. And they like, approved. I'm going to be like, oh, I'm so happy I paid off those loans. So it may hurt, but it'll be worth it. You know, the pain or the sadness is temporary. And that's for anything, you know, in life. I can apply that to too many things in my life. You know, sometimes you wait, you know, if you wait, it's greater, you know. What's that saying? I can't remember. It don't matter. Y'all know. We had 17 minutes. Oh, we doing good. We had 17 minutes. I'm not talking too much. Okay, but I do feel like I'm talking fast. Hold on. Let's take a water break, y'all. Number 6. And I feel like this is really important, even still to this day. Choose your circle wisely. Choose who you hang around, who your friends are wisely, and choose who you date wisely, okay? Hanging around good influences and people who take life seriously and have something going on in life, it could really help you, right? Your circle is important. Now, I'm going to give y'all some tea on me. Coming up, I've always felt different, if that makes sense, right? I grew up kind of like, how can I put it? When I was younger, a lot of my peers kind of matured fast, like mentally faster than I did. So even though I wanted to be a part of certain groups and stuff like that, mentally I just wasn't there and I couldn't keep up. And I didn't want to be left out, right? So I was promoted at a young age. I went from 2nd grade to 4th grade. And the changes really started to hit me once I hit middle school, because I'm 10 years old in the 6th grade. And these girls are 12 and 13. You know, they're older than me. They're experiencing different things. They're into boys in a way that I'm not into. You know, when you grow up in the ghetto, there's a lot of exposure, especially sexual exposure. You know, it's just a lot that goes on. So I wanted to fit in. And when I don't want to say majority of people is bad people, but when majority of the people is doing bad things and it's rewarded, like being a good girl, it's like, oh, okay, cool, that's what's up. But it's usually like when you a bad girl, you kind of cool, you know what I mean? So the circles because I wanted to fit in, the circles that I chose were not the best for me. And eventually I became the bad influence to other good people, right? So, damn, that's me babbling. Where was I going? So yeah, I decided to try to align myself with people who I felt like were cool, or who was doing stuff that I felt like I wanted to do, specifically when I went away, let's just use let's keep with the theme of college, right? When I went away to school, I had a crew. We was a crew, okay? We all lived in the same dorm building, not in the same dorm room, but the same dorm building. And it was 4 of us in total, and we used to party every day, every night. We would be at the house parties, the frat parties, the club parties. We were outside we was the girls that was outside late on campus, full out line, you know, and eventually, you know, I became a slacker. We became slackers. But let me get to this I'll get to the, we're going to put a pin in that slackers part, right? Eventually we became slackers, right? But going to a HBCU was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I got to see people of all different lives. I seen young adults who took their life seriously. I seen 18-year-old men who was like, I can't fuck around, I want to be a doctor. And if I like you, I think you cute, I think you fun, but if I see you out here, you partying every night, you don't never go to class, I can't mess with you. Like, you're a bad influence on me. If we can't like sit down and chill and study together or whatever, then you're not my type of girl. And at the time, I didn't understand that, because the only thing I was used to was partying and bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, or there were other girls, like, you see other people do things. For example, I was friends with this girl who was a great influence on me. She was a part of a sorority. She had friends who were a part of like student government, and other like young people who were doing positive things, like running for student council, and, you know, going, like, she was older, so she had friends who were in her sorority that was applying for grad school. She was a great influence on me. And she, you know, she helped me see, like, Raven, you got so much potential, you could be doing this, doing that. But because I didn't feel like I was worthy of aligning myself with people like this, I chose to stick with the circle that I was used to, or the people, or doing the same stuff that I was, you know, used to doing. And that goes back to, that's another point that I want to get to. I feel like I'm rambling, but stay with me. And if you made it this far, can I get a thumbs up, please? We at 23, just to let me know that you watching the video. Let's talk about just a little bit about having a jealous spirit, because I am somebody who suffered from that, right? When you have an idea of what you want to do, but you don't feel like you are worthy, because you don't know how to execute, or you don't have a support system. Like, for example, I'll tell y'all, one thing I really wanted to do is be a part of a sorority. I never knew nothing about sorority life. I seen Drumline, that was about it, but I didn't know nothing about a sorority until I got down south to my HBCU. And when I seen how these women, these young girls, were role models to basically most of the girls on campus. Most girls wanted to be a part of sorority, not all girls, but when I seen that, not only were these girls, they had respect, they were respectable young women, they did community outreach, you know, they were popular, so to speak, you know, and they still were able to be cute and fun and party, and they were able to stroll and do all of this stuff. I really wanted to do that. And I was like, okay, well, how am I gonna do that? Well, you gotta have good grades, and you gotta align yourself with the right people. Well, because I was getting off with my grades, and because I didn't feel worthy to align myself with the right people, I developed a jealous spirit, right? Because I didn't feel worthy to align myself with these type of girls, because of my own like self-doubt, you develop the jealous spirit. So I developed the jealous spirit, and that jealous spirit kept me away, because it's like, you don't deserve to be over there, and these people is not going to accept you, when actually it's a total opposite. If I would have knew what I knew now, that most of the black kids that was coming to my college were in predicaments like me. Most of them was coming out of the ghetto. A lot of them was first generation students just trying to figure it out. So if I would have reached out and said, hey, this is what I want to do, but I'm struggling on how to do it, this is the only thing I know how to do. All I know how to do is party and bullshit. But I'm here because in my mind, I want to be something better. I know that somebody would have helped me. I would have got a mentor. Somebody would have helped me get my grades up. Somebody would have pulled me out them clubs. Girl, what are you doing? Let's go study. Let's go talk to your professor and see, you know, because it's so many people who want to do outreach like that on campuses like that. But because of how I felt about myself, my own self-doubt, it kept me away from those people. So I'm saying that to say, if you are a person that steers away from certain type of people because you feel like whatever they doing, you can never amount to it, you have to ask the Lord to help you forgive yourself and to help you learn to love yourself, to say, I am worthy of doing the same thing that they're doing. You know, because when you surround yourself with good people, if I think about all the good people that's helped me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just pick up on so much game. You know what I'm saying? Like, their qualities, some of their qualities and their traits, they rub off on you. You know, like, for example, now, I have a great supervisor at work. She's the best boss that I ever had. And one of the things is what she don't play about is, like, she doesn't want anybody coming to her to tell her nothing about me. So what she's hard on me on is, you need to come here and do what it is that you need to do, and if you need help, ask me, because you're a reflection of me. So now I feel like if I'm ever in a position to where a young girl like me coming up trying to, you know, break into corporate America needs help, I'm going to be like, instead of, because you are a reflection of me, instead of like downing you, I'm gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? So you get what I'm saying? Those kind of character traits kind of rub off on you. Next, oh, that was a mouthful. Try to get through this. I may have to make a part 2. If we make a part 2, we can make a part 2. Because I'm at 6. I think I'm at number 6 and I got 12. So yeah, we'll stop here and then I'll do 7 through 12 on another video. So yeah, I hope I didn't bore y'all too much. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. And leave a pink heart in the comments, because that's about to be our thing. Even if you don't have nothing to say, just leave a pink heart. Hey girl, watch the video. You know, good looking, whatever. And I hope this helped you. So yeah, until the next video diary, I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.